Hello and welcome. This is Chrisanne from Elemental Energies with Chrisanne. And today we are continuing our saga with circles. We're not going to say I'm obsessed with circles, but we're just going to say I have a lot of circles around, so we're going to use them up. So if you haven't watched my previous videos, I've done a lot with circles over the past week, whatever. So we are making little circle clusters today, and let me show you. I've done something kind of comparable and similar to this one before, and in this case we're using bits from Tim Holtz. This is just a ticket. This is from my Hobby Lobby haul that I posted the other day. This is a punch from Stamping Up, and this is another paper punch. I don't remember the company of this one. And we're doing and then I did flat back gems on them. And we're doing very sort of comparable things with each of them. Sort of comparable, you can see I have 3 with the butterfly, the fern, and then the punch out. So I like 3s. I like to do things in 3s. So here's a 3, here's a 3, and then the flatback gems are a 3. I don't know why. It's just more visually appealing to my eye, and that's kind of how I operate when I do some of these little tchotchkes that I make for my journals. But this is not just going to be a little decorative component for my journals. It is also going to be used on the front of greeting cards. You hear me say all the time, I need to get a ton of greeting cards made. This is going to be something that will be layered on top of a card as well. So I have a whole bunch of my components here in my little dishes. If you've been watching, you can see that I picked up some little pottery dishes when I went to the local county fair. So I'm using them, and I have a bunch of my little components in them. And they're all lined up. I know you can't fully see all of them. So let's get started making these. So I have 2.5 inch circles. And these I have out of cardstock. Now I did find on my desk some of these, and these are punched out from some paper that I made with my different Tim Holtz sprays and all those type of things. So we might use some of those as well. But let's get started with a plain 2.5 inch circle. And I just can't use a plain 2.5 inch circle. So I have a stencil here. I have a stencil brush. There is green on this stencil brush. I just inked it up, but you know what? I might have to ink it up again. Let's look. I'm just trying to give a little bit of something to the back. Nope, that's fine. A little bit of something to the background of the paper circle. Then I am going to edge this in my Distress Oxide, and I am using my same old Grand Espresso. There. And then roll up my sleeve, getting a little warm. I have a whole bunch of these tickets, and I just got them at a local store. You can get them at Walmart too. I think they're in the party section at Walmart. So I have that, and now let's do another green one. So here's a green butterfly. These are the Hobby Lobby cutouts that I showed the other day in my Hobby Lobby haul. I did a really small Hobby Lobby haul. Let's take one of these. And then let's find one of these. These are Tim Holtz ones. I kind of like this one. So let's do that one. Now, for these, I took my corner rounder and I'm using the smallest one. And I'm just rounding the corner. Then I'm going to ink the edges. You know what? I'm going to put a little bit more. And let's ink up the white here. There. Okay, I did that. Let's do a little bit on this. This is sort of trickier to do, these little punch outs. And I kind of try and do the edges, but I'm okay going over the top just to kind of tone down some of the papers. A lot of the papers that I used for these were Stampin' Up! Papers as well. And just to kind of tone it down a little bit. And then the other component that I want to use is one of these little labels. We'll use this one. These are the Tim Holtz ones as well. There. So I have everything inked and everything ready to be assembled. So let's see. Let's hold this like this. The only thing I didn't pull out was the little flag. And I will pick that out in a moment. So let's put down the ticket. I am going to have this little fern sticking out a little bit off the top. It is pouring rain outside today, like all day. You know what? I am going to move this over a smidge. Going to put that right there. So it's pouring rain out, so it's a perfect day to be inside and crafting. Although every day is a perfect day to be crafting. And then this little bit, let's cover that up, or I can clip it off. Actually, let's clip it off. There. And then this can be down here a little bit more. And then my butterfly. Yeah, let's do the butterfly right there. And then let's decide which one. This one has green on it. Yep, we're going to do that one. Let's ink that up too. I did have this punch on my desk. No idea where it walked off to. It's here somewhere. But luckily, I made a whole bunch. Now, I'm not going to add any word stickers to these. When I go and put this on the front of a card, I may come in and just do a word sticker on the middle here, or come in and do a word sticker on this side, either directly underneath or offset to the side. Haven't decided yet. But, oh, you know what? I didn't do the gems. Let's do some greens on this one. Put a gem right there, and right there. So I'm keeping to my 3. There. I think that one and that one are different colors, but that's okay. It works. It still brings more to your eye when you're looking at it. The biggest trick I found to be successful when you're trying to mass produce something like this is to have all your components laid out and in front of you. To have everything here. You know, I have a whole bunch of these boxes, and I love these boxes, and these are great, and I have shown them in other videos. I don't have the space on my desk to have a whole bunch of these opened up. I do behind me, but I wanted you to be able to see stuff too. So that's why I took things out and put them in my little tiny little pottery vessels here, which in all honesty are fun to use because they're pretty. But the more I have things sort of more accessible to me, the more successful I'm going to be with mass producing these. So now let's get mass producing these. Let's get a whole bunch done, and then we'll just do all the gems at the end. So I'm going to use one of my pretty circles here. And you know what? I think we'll probably do another green. Yep, just a hint, which is fine with me. Let's take a darker green for the fern. Let's take this ticket, that one, and I'm going to do that butterfly. These are two-sided. There's another. I'll do that green for that one. And then the only other component is one of these. We'll do that one. It has a little bit of green on the edge there. Okay, so now let's ink everything up. When you give something a nice edge like this, especially a more pronounced edge than just a delicate little edge, it brings your eye in. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to bring your eye into all these different components. And it brings continuity to the piece. I like to work in tiny little works of art. I've always liked to work in miniature. So this just works well for me. Okay. And then this one is two-sided, but I'm going to go with this one. And I'm going to do my best to get around the edges, but I also want to tone down that white on the front. There. That works for me. Oh, you know what? I didn't round the edges on this. Let me do that. And then I'm going to re-ink the edges. I like the look of the rounded edge when I'm working with a circle. Okay. Let's do that. In all these different decorated papers I've had in my stash, so I don't know when, but a while ago, I just went and started cutting a bunch of circles. It was last week that I was cutting up a bunch of the ferns from different pieces of paper that I had laying around. You know, at night, I like to have a little sort of keep busy craft. And that's what that was for me. This has writing that goes both ways. Okay, we're doing that one up the top. Decisions in life. There. See that one, you can see the stem there too, but that's okay. I think I'm going to leave it. Because this will cover it. There. And then let's just do this little side flag. I'm going to make a couple more of these. And then I'm going to come in with the flat back gems. So there, let's put this one aside to dry. Let's make a couple more. This one has orange on it, and I think the orange is, oh no, the orange is still there. The orange plays well with some of the browns. Let's see. I have two different size ferns here. All right, let's start pulling components. You know, I do have some of these mushrooms. I can do mushrooms instead of a butterfly, which is what I was thinking. It's why I have, oh, I have a squirrel too. All right, let's not do a mushroom. Let's not do a butterfly on this one. Yeah, let's do that. We'll do the squirrel next. So I'm going to have a whole bunch of different varieties and types. Use what's on your desk. Use what you have laying around. And you know, the other thing is, use some of your favorite components. You know, you don't need to hold on to them forever. It's nice to, but you don't need to. There's that. Let me do the edge. There. There. Okay, let me grab a little one of these. This one's kind of, okay, I don't know if we'll use that or not because of where I'm putting the mushroom. let's start assembling and we'll see. I mean, there's nothing that says I have to stick to this format. Although I like this format. Okay. And don't get me wrong, I like the butterflies. So let's see, if I were to do that there, it looks too busy to me, believe it or not. Something looks busy to me. You know what? I'm wondering if I shouldn't go back to my butterfly plan. Well, let me do one mushroom. Let's do one mushroom since I have this. Those my numbers off. My 3s. All right, I'm going to include this. I know. Probably look better without it. Okay, we're going to overlap that, and then we'll come back. Oh, I didn't do the little side thing. And then we'll come back and we'll do the flat back gems. I'm going to do that little wood looking one there. I'm going to be making dinner shortly. I'm making yummy chicken wings, buffalo wings, and I have some dairy-free, gluten-free, vegan blue cheese dressing. It doesn't sound good, but it's delicious. Let me tell you, it's delicious. So I'm gonna have that with it. I'm thinking of making a sweet potato to go with that. Let's do a blue one. Whoops. I'm sure there's enough left on this. Yeah, that's fine. So we'll take a turquoise one here. It's not quite the right blue. Let's do this one. Let's see. Do I want to do one of these instead? No, I don't. Ticket. That's really pretty. What's on the other side? We're going to do that. Oh, we'll do this. Doesn't kind of match. Well, you know what? Let's do that one. It kind of does, kind of doesn't match. And then there's some here. This one. They have like a blue tint to it. Yeah, we're going with that one. Okay, there's our pile of goodies. Let's get this is not emptying there. Okay. And let's ink everything up. And it's nice to have sort of a nice collection of things that when you sit down to do your journal, you just have stuff to decorate. Or cards. Or whatever. Or you can send these to somebody as Happy Mail. They're flat enough to put in the mail. If you want to attach them to a card, fine. If you don't, that's fine too. Sometimes I get more ink on my fingernails than I do on the papers. And you know what? This one, we're just going to go like this. There. You can see it on my black paper, but that's okay. This black paper is going to get flipped upside down and cut up. Okay, let's assemble. I have a little bit hanging off here. Now, when I was getting ready to make this video, I had all my components. I trimmed off the little thing on the end. I had all my components ready, just sitting here. My phone rang. I'm like, let me get a couple made so I can use as demo ones. To me, this is something that's fun to work with, something that's fun to make. Oh, see, I trimmed it. It's still, you still could see it, even though I trimmed it. There. Oh, I tried. There. And I have sort of a tray that I keep all my little tchotchkes in. So when I sit down to get things made, I have everything sort of at my fingertips. I'm thinking of moving them to a different type of box. How many do I have made? I have 3. Let's make one more. Let's use this green. See how the orange looks. There. That looks cool. Just a little bit of a something. I think we're gonna go with that one. Go with that one. Oh, my light. Where did my light go out? Hold on. Okay. I need to get my other light going. There. Okay. All right. So let me see. You know what? This is going to be a whole different, I see a whole different project with that. I'm going to stick to the butterflies. Let's pick, I'm going to go with that one. You know what? I think I want to go with, do I want to go with that one? I kind of like that green. We'll go with that. Okay, and then let's grab a component from here. I'm mostly a decisive person. I don't take too long to make decisions most of the time. That's kind of a pet peeve of mine. Just make a decision. When I owned a shop, I had a hard time with that. because I don't make quick decisions doesn't mean everybody else. Yeah. And that's okay. Taught me patience for others. I still make mostly quick decisions. I go with what I'm energetically gravitating towards, and I listen to my instincts, I listen to my intuition, and that helps me along the way. And I just kind of go with the flow and realize there's a reason why I need to make this decision. If I'm being called for this art project or this crystal or this piece of jewelry or, whatever, there's a reason, and trust the process. And I think I have the ability to sort of trust the process. And sometimes I wish that for other people. I think we're just going to leave this one mostly like that. Okay, I think I have all these done. Okay, let's decide how we're going to hold this. I think I'm happy with this right there. Whoops. And then let's get all these little bits glued down. We're going to have this sticking off the top. Who knows if we're going to come in and cut the bottom? I will trust the process. You know what? We're going to cover it right there. There. And then we'll kind of do that one more in the middle. All the others I sort of did off to the right. We'll do that there. And then we'll come in and we'll do that there. And then this we will take and put up on the side. There. I think when you keep it to something small, if you're having a hard time getting started, because a lot of people say, okay, I'm new to this, I'm getting started, how do you suggest I start with this? Okay, start with something small. Keep your selection of items relatively small. Be very decisive and have fun with it. This is all about having fun. It's not about solving the world's problems. It's just about sitting and having fun, enjoying what you do. If you're not enjoying this, you're not doing the right thing. All right, let's get some gems, and we're going to do flat back gems on these. Get my gem picker. Oops. All right. So we're going to do this blue onto these. I'm seeing a different blue. I'm not seeing that same blue. All right. This might be the same blue. There. I think those are all three the same blue. Okay, we'll put that there to dry. This one needs a green of some sort. Oh, I see the green I'll use. Okay. There. I like using the flat back gems because I think it just gives it another little level of pop. All right. We'll just do all three up here. Let's do 3 different ones. We're going to do a green, a brown, and this darker blue. There. A little bit different on that one. But then again, mushroom is different than the other things I've been doing. Okay. For this one, I wish there were creams in this. I do have these sort of gray mauve kind of tones. Let me go with those. I'm not sure if they're all 3 different ones, but kind of gray ones. Something different. Okay. So we have those all done. And, you know, within a half an hour-ish, smidge more. If you have everything laid out and ready, you can get a bunch of these made. So let's go through. I'm going to show you the ones that we just did together. We have that. This is my only non-butterfly one. I dared to be different. Fun. A little bit of color in the background adds quite a bit compared to some of the white ones, even though I'm adding stenciling to the back. Tell them what you like. And let me show you the ones that I did pre-video, my demo ones. Oh, I did 4. Did I do 4? I guess I did 4. Oh no, one of these I did with you guys. It was either this one or this one. So we had 5 made. 5 made in this video because I did all the gems. Yep. 1, 2, 3. Yep, we did 5 together. So I have a nice little selection of these. Oh, I better let them dry. Let me see. So I can get some items made soon. That'll be fun. Okay, good. I like it when I have a collection of things made, so then I can just sit down and then just pull one of these components out and make a card with it, or, you know, something. Let me see, is this piece? This isn't a piece cut for a card, but if I mount this on this, cut it, and then mount this on top of a piece of white cardstock, there's a card. And if I choose to do some of the Tim Holtz words, right there. How simple is that? I'm not going to put together a card in this video. For this video, it's just making these that we can take and put in our journals, whatever. So I hope you had fun joining me for my little circle butterfly clusters, even though one's a mushroom. Thanks so much for tuning in. Check out my website, www.elementalenерgieswithchrisanne.com. Take care. Be free.